Slasha, how do you do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I am with at the lounge, but I'm going to be Tom the Whiskey Whisperer with you tonight. I got to do two cocktails. I just got home from work a little bit ago. Well, got home from work 45 minutes ago. It just took a long time to put this together. Anyway, it just took me a minute. I kept having some setbacks, but nevertheless, I persevere. Got a couple versions of an old fashioned to have with you, so I'm going to be right back with the first one. All right, I apologize for the dead air there. Give me a second. It's one of those. I'm tired. It's been a long day, and everything's taking me just a little bit longer than I think it's gonna. Keep having these minor setbacks, but I think it'll all be okay once I'm able to just have a drink. I just need a drink, man. Anyways, let me pick something real quick, and then you'll have my undivided attention. There we go. Now that should be set. And we should be back in business. Anyway, woo! So I haven't made one of these for a while because, well, it hasn't been the season for it. A maple old fashioned. And what I did with this, in fact, sometimes I use this as a maple Manhattan. Only difference is how it's served. But anyways, I'm using the Whistle Pig maple syrup. It's a barrel aged maple syrup. Let me show that to you. If I got a good look, I used the same. I made two cocktails using the same whiskey. I finished this off. This is my Wood Hat Bourbon Rubenesque. This is the cask edition. What does that say? I can't even read that at the moment. There, 61.7%. So what are we talking about? 122.4. Let me show you. I finished off the bottle there, so I made a nice healthy drink. Both of them are. So the whiskey, maple syrup, and now when I've made these in the past, I've used this black walnut bitters, and I did use these, but I want to add something. Is the black walnut bitters, but I also added the cardamom bitters for a little bit extra spice. So and I've never made one that way before, but it just sounded right. Anyway, Sláinte. Oh, fuck, that's delicious. So I didn't use, I used the maple syrup. So I didn't use another sugar or simple syrup. I just used the sweetness from that maple syrup, which is all you would need, to be honest with you. But I do understand that a lot of folks do like a cocktail a little sweeter than I do. And I like the black walnut bitters, especially for the aromatics. But I do like with the addition of just a couple drops of the cardamom bitters did. It adds that little bit of extra spice I really enjoy. So I'm going to finish this one up, but I will tell you about the second one. It's a version of a cocktail I've used for work called the strawberry shortcake old fashioned, which has a strawberry vanilla simple syrup, and I use rhubarb bitters with it. In this case, I use that exact same whiskey, but we're gonna stop and enjoy this one, man. Uh, Good gravy, that is delicious. Yeah, I haven't had one for a while because it's a fall cocktail, right? I mean, it's a little on the warm side out there, but we had some storms going on, and it just seemed like the right thing to have. Well, that and my syrup got kind of put away and kind of got forgot about where the hell it was. So, well, hell, I'm looking at that whistle pig thinking I probably ought to try it, man. Uh, they don't even make it. I want to say they won't make it. They don't have it packaged like this anymore. Now it says cocktail syrup. Where here it doesn't say cocktail syrup. It just says Whistle Pig Barrel Aged Maple Syrup. So I'm wondering if they take some liberties with the other one that says cocktail syrup. That I'm guessing it's probably not pure maple. Would be my guess. This stuff is really good. Oh, mercy. Felt like a cocktail. Actually was just gonna have a barrel aged beer and some straight whiskey, but then I saw the ingredients there and thought, no, I'm gonna. And that's what slowed me down. I probably could have got the video going about 15 minutes earlier if I just grabbed the beer and the straight whiskey. But once I had the idea for a cocktail, I couldn't stop. And then I had a couple minor setbacks that slowed me down. Nevertheless, we persevere. And I am off tomorrow, so I figure, well, if I'm going to stay up late, it might as well be tonight because I do work Sunday this week. Boy, that maple syrup is freaking special. It's good on waffles too. And it's good on pancakes too. You get a little bit of barrel in there. Ah, cheese whiz and gravy. It's good. Now, when I've made this before, I haven't been using it because I don't have the whistle pig. When I've had that whistle pig with rye, I was using that together. But we're going to use it with something else because I need to use this syrup. So the garnish for this one, I kind of went traditional with the orange peel and the cherry. But when I've made this in the past, I've used a cinnamon stick. I just didn't think of it at the moment, and I didn't see one right handy. But yeah, usually I like to garnish it with a cinnamon stick. The orange always works, right? Because of the aromatics, especially well, even with one like this, where you're like a more deep into the fall. But yeah, if I'd have thought about it, I was just trying to go so fast putting together. If I had a little more time, I'd have found a cinnamon stick. I really like a cinnamon stick in here. But the cinnamon stick kind of does what that cardamom bitters already is done, is add that extra spice. The longer that cinnamon stick sits in your cocktail, yeah, the more cinnamon it imparts, obviously. Ah, gorgeous. Uh, ah. That after work drink, is there anything ever better than that first afternoon cocktail, that first or beer, or that first afternoon, whatever it is you're looking for? There's just nothing like it. That first after work, whatever, that cocktail, that beer, that straight shot, depending on how your day went, right? Sometimes you got to go straight to Boilermaker, man, or go depth charge, as some might call it. Kind of depends on where you're from, right? In some parts of the country, if you drop the shot in your glass, it's a depth charge. But in old Irish circles, that's a Boilermaker. But some call a Boilermaker just a shot in a beer. Take the shot, chase it with the beer. And I've done it both ways. I do like the dropping a shot in there though and pounding her down. But I can see how the purist would just take the shot, drink the beer. Don't make shit more complicated than it needs to be. So as I've been talking ad nauseum as we get closer, I haven't bought anything new. Well, I've had to buy rum and I had to buy tequila for a specific podcast, but I haven't been buying any new whiskey for quite some time. And at one time, I had several unopened bottles, and now I'm down to one. And I just finished off this bourbon Rubenesque from Wood Hat, so that's now done, and I've only got a couple left, man. We're getting slim now, Tom. Yeah, I've got the Rocktown, which I opened at the beginning of the month to work through. I've got a little bit of this Turcano that I picked up back in January, so we're gonna weed through that one. But yeah, I'm not buying. If I run out, I run out. I'm not buying anything new until I go on vacation, and and I hope to be able to load up again, which is what I typically like to do. I bought a whole bunch of stuff back in January when my wife and I went to Tulsa. I think I bought about maybe six bottles. I bought a lot of stuff, man. I bought a lot, man. But I'm down. I'm down to just one now, man. The Rocktown. I've got one though. I've got a bottle from Union Horse that I actually bought last August. I bought two bottles of it at the time and drank one almost immediately. But I've been sitting on this bottle for over a year now. That's my last unopened bottle. And I want to open it, but I'm going to try to wait to about the beginning of September. So if I run out of everything else before then, well, I'm just not going to have anything. Now that my wood hat is gone, I'm running kind of slim. Gonna have to start doing some rum and agave spirit cocktails. What's an agave spirit, Tom? Well, it's tequila that's not made in Mexico. It's tequila that's not made in a specific region. Yeah. So this is local to me, Tiaki Da Price. So I've got this tequila and rum that I had to buy for a specific podcast here. So I'm gonna work on those. As I look forward to going on vacation and picking up some stuff, and I'm hoping to bring a lot of Banter Brew with me. Most of you know I work for Banter Brewing. I'm hoping to bring a lot of that stuff with me. I'm going to put together some specific 4-packs of some stuff and bring to certain locations as I try them. I won't have enough to drop some off everywhere, but a few places where we're staying at a Brewdog hotel, so I want to bring some stuff to them. We had a minor snafu there, but they made it more than right, so I want to be a little generous to them. I want to bring some products to them. They're really nice. The way they handled the situation was absolutely brilliant. Boy, I haven't used this maple syrup in a while, and it is really freaking something special, I gotta tell you. It hasn't been that season, right, for a cocktail like this, and now, wow, man. Wow, that's just good, man. I've been drinking a little slower than I typically do. Yeah, but it is a cast strength whiskey, and it's my first alcohol of the day. But I need to get through it so I can get to that second one. My garnish is getting away, so I'm going to take it out. It's bogging me down, man. Anyway. Oh man, that is delicious. Wood Hat, I do like Wood Hat Spirits. I've never been to their distillery. I'm hoping to get there this year. I don't know if I'll be able to. At some point later in the year, I'm going to pass around it, but I've got to kind of do a detour I have to go a long way around the bar to actually get there, so I haven't figured out that detail yet. But if there's a way, I will get to that distillery. 'Cause last year I was close to it, but I didn't realize how close I was at the time. Bear with me; I'll be right back. Cocktail number two, like I said, it is strawberry shortcake old fashioned is what I named it. Why did you name it that, Tom? Well, it kind of made sense, I suppose, because I use it's a strawberry vanilla simple syrup that I make using fresh strawberries, real vanilla, and then when it's added to, it kind of gives you that illusion. But people always ask me that I've had this cocktail. Uh, did I put cinnamon? So I'm tasting cinnamon. Well, you're not tasting cinnamon from the simple syrup, which most people think. You're getting the cinnamon from the whiskey, and that vanilla really helps pull that out of the whiskey. I do like that simple syrup. I gotta tell you, that strawberry one's been very popular. I did a peach though not long ago, and um, everybody that's had it has loved it. I'm just not finding as many that are as enamored by having peach that they are strawberry. But everybody I can get to try the peach really enjoys it. But something about the strawberry just seems to work. It was supposed to be just for just July, but it's been so popular at work, I had to bring it back. And now that that particular whiskey is gone, boy, I don't have much left now. I'm looking around. My reserve is about gone. Yeah. It's getting slim, Tom. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do rum and agave spirit cocktails. But sometimes there's just no substitute for whiskey. If you're a whiskey guy, you gotta have the whiskey. I don't mind. I try to come up with other cocktails as well with other spirits. Uh, but I really am a whiskey guy at heart, man. My upbringing, I suppose. Dad was a bourbon drinker. Now, when I say bourbon drinker, he drank, he drank Jim Beam. And it was the regular everyday whiskey, Jack Daniels. Of course, Jack Daniels then is different than Jack Daniels now, and I've said that a lot, and I don't think a lot of folks understand. People buying Jack Daniels now thinking it's a great whiskey. It is not. It is not. They say it hasn't changed, Tom. Well, technically, no, but you've added more water to it, man, and that changed the product. Back before about, I think it was 86, maybe 87. I don't remember the exact year now, but before that, it was a 90 proof product, and then it became an 86 proof product, and then sometime in the 90s, it just became an 80 proof product. The problem there is that they still try to enjoy that price point bump, right? There's still X amount dollars more than Jim Beam is, as if they were still a 90 proof product, but they're not. Now you can tell me you like the taste of Jack Daniels better. That's why you buy it. Okay, fine. I won't argue that point. But at 80 proof, it's not a higher quality whiskey, and it costs about $10 more per bottle. So to buy Jack Daniels just doesn't make any logical sense other than you've been sucked in by a brand name and brilliant marketing. That you're an idiot. Especially if you're adding anything to it, right? I mean, if you're drinking Jack and Coke or Jack and anything else, yeah, you're not buying Jack Daniels for the taste. You're buying Jack Daniels because you've been sucked into brilliant marketing and you're an idiot. Because Jim Beam is what it is. I mean, you can like it or not, but for the price point at 80 proof, there's certainly nothing wrong with the damn whiskey. But anyway, I didn't finish where I was going earlier. Dad had Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and Wild Turkey. Now, Wild Turkey wasn't necessarily because times were better. Wild Turkey was when he really wanted to get drunk fast. I once saw my dad and a friend polish off a fifth in about a half a heartbeat. My dad drunk could go a couple different ways. Sometimes, or actually three. Let's say sometimes he'd just go passed out, which was always great. Or he would get overly affectionate, and that was the only time Dad would tell you he loved you is when he was extremely drunk. Or you get the mean aggravated drunk, right? And we would just avoid it. I'm not going to. Dad never beat us. I want to make sure that's clear. But he would get angry about it. Sometimes he'd just get angry. And we would just exit. Don't go in there. Dad's had Wild Turkey. And the thing is, Wild Turkey affected him different than the other two. Wild Turkey, if he was in the mind to get mean, he would be on Wild Turkey. Because I've seen him get into an altercation or two with other folks, not as kids. You know, like I say, he never hurt his kids, but it could make him mean. And at some point, the neighbors figured that out too, because we got along with most of the neighbors up to a point. They'd come over and drink, and Dad didn't mind sharing products as long as it was reciprocated or they appreciated them, right? If it was Dad's idea to share the whiskey, whatever it was, but if you just walked in and decided you were going to have his whiskey without Dad offering it to you, yeah, that was going to be a problem. We're going to have a problem here. But Dad always kept a full bar, but the only products he drank was the bourbon, right? Some folks thought they were being nice one day, and they brought him a bottle of Old Crow, and that Old Crow sat there for about a decade. That liked his bourbon, but yeah, that Old Crow just sat there and sat there. We'd seen bottles of Jack, Jim, and Turkey come and go, and that poor Old Crow just sat there and sat there. Dad wasn't drinking that shit, man. That Dad wasn't necessarily a connoisseur by any means, but he wasn't going to Old Crow, man. When he had folks, and finally at some point, I think some folks that like lesser quality product, he just would serve it to folks that didn't know any better. But at some point, that Old Crow just had dust on the bottle. That poor bottle Old Crow, I felt sorry for it. But anyway, Dad got distracted by the Old Crow story. But Dad kept a full bar, always had tequila, gin, vodka, whatever, but he never drank any of them. So the products that he had weren't necessarily top shelf gin, vodka, or tequila, right? Uh, Although, in fairness to Pop and in fairness to the times, there are products that were thought of maybe not top shelf, but good products at the time that aren't now. For instance, we usually had Cuervo Gold, which now is thought of maybe not so great, but at that time, back in the 70s and 80s, it was thought to be a good product because there wasn't a lot of products available. Usually had the Gordon's gin and vodka, which was kind of well, but it's not. It's actually better quality than what's in most wells these days. But as I won't say kids, but as we got older, we learned that Dad only cared about the bourbon. So if we didn't touch the Jack, if we didn't touch the Jim, if we didn't touch the turkey, Dad wasn't paying attention. So we could gradually siphon off some of the vodka, gin, tequila, etc. Well, not the Cuervo Gold, but when he had the white or silver, whatever they call it, we could siphon it off, add a little water, don't we know the difference? Well, one night my friends and I went out and kind of got a little buzz. We came home and our friends would stay at our house because my parents were far too buzzed to worry about how buzzed we were. So, anyways, we came in and I see one of Dad's, one of the neighbors actually pouring what's left of the what's left of the. I think it was the gin, but it could have been the vodka. One of the Gordons. I'm pretty sure it was a gin, but it could have been the vodka. Hell, I don't remember now. But anyway, he's pouring it into the blender, and they're making themselves a drink. I don't know what they were making, but they're grinding some ice, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. But and we know at this point there's nothing in there but pure water, right? There is no alcohol of any kind left in that bottle because we've effectively taken it all out. Because I knew he wouldn't notice. So, hey, Jeff, sometimes I don't know if you're kidding or if you're being an intentional asshole, if you're talking to somebody. I just got home from work a little bit ago, and I'm on my. Well, I have two cocktails for this video. I'm just starting the second one, so I think your comments will add a line, so I'm not going to post it. But sometimes it does feel like you're just intentionally being an asshole. Anyways, I'm going to continue with my story. We see them pouring that in there. We know it's just water at this point. So they finish it up and they make their cocktail and they say, well, you're out of gin. We're going to have to go get some more. Okay. But my friends and I are kind of sweating it for about a half second because we don't know if we're about to get busted, but they're all more hammered than we are at that moment. So they don't know that all they're drinking is water and ice and whatever fruit shit they put in that cocktail. No, I know, but you say that a lot. It kind of grates on me a little bit. Now, if I actually am buzzed, I don't mind. I really don't. But when I just got home and have one and you mention a comment like that, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, especially since you tend to do it often. Ugh. But then again, in your defense, Jeff, I did make some rather, I did make two rather strong drinks. And I may be getting a little aggravated because it's been a long ass week and I'm tired and I just worked an 11-hour day. So don't sweat it, man. I'm going to be fine. Uh, but then on the other side of that, sometimes folks will say, "Hey, I'm just joking," when they've been busted, but once, "Hey, I didn't mean it." So, Woodhat, New Florence, Missouri. They're doing some very nice products. This particular one, I do like cast drink, especially in a cocktail like this. I don't like an 80 proof whiskey in an old fashioned because I feel like it waters it down too much. When you get to, I think you need at least 90. If you're doing a Manhattan, if you're doing an old fashioned, you got to have at least 90. I get caskets sometimes go a little too far, but I'm at home. I just got home from work. Worked a long ass day. Um, anyways, cilantro. Uh, so typically when I garnish this drink, to be honest with you, I use half of a fresh strawberry. However, this, For this one, because I had them handy, I didn't have a fresh strawberry handy. I just dropped a frozen berry in there. And that's helped keep this drink nice and cold, man. That drink is cold, baby, because that's strawberry. And here's the thing, though: as this strawberry is warming up, as the strawberry is defrosting, it's actually soaking up that whiskey as well. So when I get down to eating that berry, boy, it's going to be full of stuff, man. Hey, Jeff, don't sweat it, man. I'm mostly busting your balls. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist. I don't know if we'll be back tonight or not. I might be back very early in the morning, maybe 12:01 before I get the next video started. But anyways, man, just took me a lot longer to get this video started. I thought it was gonna. It just kept making things more complicated for myself, which I tend to do, man. And now that I'm relaxed, I say, okay. I should do the other video first and then did this one when I had time to really put the cocktails together. But boy, when I saw that maple syrup, I thought a maple Manhattan just sounded good. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker. Hey, Jeff, thanks for tuning in. I don't hold a grudge, man. All is forgotten. We're going to skip to the end and say all around good guys. Launch you. Have a good one, guys.